Gathering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.
Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series.
Hello, Adam. Hello, listeners. We are back.
Slay.
Back again. For us, it has been 15 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're both just traveling a lot coming up, so we're doubling them up. Adam, how are you since the 15 minutes I saw you?
Oh my God.
Did you have a snack?
Yeah, I had RJ made a burrito bake. So it's like refried beans and then like he did tofu, but tofu and cheese and like onions and, well, you wouldn't like the onions, but like tomatoes and lettuce and
what makes
like
it a burrito bake?
It's like a casserole instead of like a burrito.
Oh, I see. It's
like it's like almost like a 5-layer dip, except it's
a very extravagant bean dip.
Yes.
That sounds. I would love that minus the onions. That sounds right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
basically.
I wish we had tortilla chips. Oh, we probably did, and I just didn't. Oh, the blue corn tortilla chips.
Do you know how hard it is to find tortilla chips over here? Like,
is it hard?
You can't just find like. I desperately would love like a Tostitos lime chip right now. Mm-hmm. Tostitos with a hint of lime. Oh, I'm going to eat so much Chipotle when I go back to America in like a week. This week we read chapter 16 called In the Hogshead. Not the Hogshead. We are in the Hogshead.
Yeah.
Adam, what happens in this chapter?
There is a preliminary meeting of the members of, spoiler alert, what will become Dumbledore's army.
Yeah, what do they ever even call it? Anything at first?
No. Nothing in this chapter.
Harry's gang.
Yeah. Real defense against the dark arts.
Yeah, I guess.
Great. So
lovely.
we started the chapter and it is a 2-week time jump from when Hermione has offered the suggestion of the idea.
Yeah, that's kind of casual, isn't it? I feel like that's a pretty big time jump for a Harry Potter book.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's weirder that she like specified that it was 2 weeks. I guess it's supposed to be, because that week was the second week of school.
Yeah.
So I think we're supposed to be at the end of September now. If school starts like the first Monday of September, or the 1st of September. When does school start? The train
September
is on
1st.
the 1st of September. So then they always start on the 2nd, unless it's a Saturday. How does Hogwarts work?
What if September 1st is a Sunday? Well, no, they could ride it, I guess. What if September 1st is a Friday?
Then they have the weekend. Lit.
Yeah. No class. But like that never happens.
Right. So it's weird. Also, I feel like it is weird to come back and have a whole like feast that night and then the next day you start school. That seems weird, right?
No, that sounds amazing.
I feel like you need like a couple days to settle in with your friend. Like they just got back. They got back like at like 7 p.m. They go to have dinner and then they go to their rooms and go to bed and are expected to like be ready to go to school the next day.
I mean, I definitely could not do that like personally, but there are people like, do you remember people that would do that with college? They would just come like the day before class would start. Yeah, I remember people that would do that and I'm like, you're crazy, but people do that.
It's true.
Not me. Could never be me.
So it's it's the end of September basically. And Hermione's like, so, have you thought about it? I'm assuming he hasn't been back in detention with Dolores. Hope to God that in those 2 weeks he's also not been still an idiot and going back to detention.
Just want to send a little follow-up message. Per my last request.
For my last email, did you want to do this? So he kind of like ignores it and is like, and then in his internal monologue,
so avoidant.
God.
He is so avoidant, Adam.
So
and then all of a
shocking.
sudden he like explodes.
yes,
He's like so avoidant and then just suddenly so confrontational. It's
yes.
like, what are you doing?
He would be a very annoying friend to have. I have to be completely honest.
No,
'Cause you'd never know. You would never know. You'd have to walk on eggshells around him at all times.
Yeah, you would. You'd be walking on eggshells. The dynamic would be so unbalanced. It would not be good. Yeah.
So he has actually thought about it in his head. He's like, so I have, had some ideas and maybe have started forming lesson plans practically, but he still feels like it's all due to luck. The reason he got through all his scrapes is because he's been lucky. And to that, I would say you're correct.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say. And that's a good point to make, I think, Harry, that like that's a good place to come from. But to Adam's point last chapter, then you don't get to walk around and be like, you didn't do what I've done. Like,
right.
There's a way
I would have no
that.
problem with him being like super modest about this whole thing in this chapter.
Yeah.
If he hadn't had that blow up at the beginning of this book and like thought all those thoughts about him being like, I'm the reason that we're still like here and we all haven't died. Like, girl.
Yeah. I'm the hero, everyone.
You don't get to have your cake and eat it too.
I think the thing is, like, he could have said something like, if he had a blow up being like, no, because I think this is what he was trying to do. He was trying to be like, no one knows what I've been through. No one's been what I've been through. Like, no one's experienced this, blah, blah, whatever. Like, you guys couldn't have survived this type of stuff. Like, it's terrible, blah, blah. But he didn't do that. He did the whole, like, I've done way more than you've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, that type of thing. So it's like, and now it's just completely, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're flipping it.
So he's like, I really haven't done that much. I don't know what you all expect me to teach. And Hermione's like, okay, you were the only person who could like get past the Imperious curse last year when
good point.
Fucking Bagman Crouch Jr.
Yeah, when Junior was torturing
Bagman,
all the
sorry,
students.
wrong person. Crouch Jr. was like, yeah.
I didn't even notice you said Bagman. Bagman Crouch Jr. Their love child.
Barty, Crouch Jr.
This Justin, they were secret lovers. They were doing the whole
listen
enemies to lovers trope.
Write the fanfic. He was the only one who could best the Imperious curse. He's the only person who can produce a full corporeal Patronus. And then she's like, and then Krum, and Ron is literally like, what'd you say? We're talking about Krum?
Oh my neck.
Whiplash.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? That's the worst. Where you like turn your head too fast and then you're like, ah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This conversation right here is us being in our 30s. This one right here. Have you ever turned your head so quick that it hurt? Yes.
I haven't done it for years.
And the fact that I have? Yes.
The last time I did it, I think I was in college.
Oh, really?
There's, that feeling when it's kind of like you feel it like go tingly or whatever, because you've just like, I don't know how to explain it. Hopefully someone knows what I'm talking about.
If you know, leave a comment. Leave a comment below.
Comment below if you've kinked your neck.
Kinked your neck. The worst truly is when you like sleep on it wrong and the next day you're like, fuck.
I literally ordered a new pillow because when Lauren, Kit, and Aaron came into town, I stayed on the couch at their spot and at their Airbnb, and the pillow was so comfortable. I like got home and I was like, I am not sleeping on my old pillow.
We have like gel pillows we sleep on, and they're very nice.
Okay. I had like a memory foam, like the pillow that has the like dip for your neck, but it does not work for me. It made my neck like so much worse.
And I truly hate how they look. I hate
so
how
ugly.
they look. They're so ugly, and there's no way to make them look better.
Yeah, and I'm such a pillow queen. Like my pillows on the bed need to look nice, so.
Yeah. So Ron is like, why are we talking about Krum? And she was like, I bring him up to say...
I'm making a point
that Viktor Krum would say that there are things that Harry Potter knew how to do that he had never been taught, and he was in his final year at Durmstrang. So, like, you are extremely qualified. And Ron is like, well, why are you still talking to each other? And she was like, I can have pen pals, asshole.
Yeah, this is weird because I'm like, when he's like, he didn't want to just be your pen pal. It's like, yeah, and?
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's something wrong with that? Yeah, great. So we're on the same page. I like him. He likes me. Like, that's what I
And
was,
also, like, his
yeah.
issue is not like you're too young to be with someone like that. That would never be. That was not where Ron was coming from with this whole thing. Because if it was, then like that's fair. But like that's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So she says this, and I hate giving her a compliment.
Yeah,
But
a part of Adam's soul like
has to die every
burns
time I do
away.
it. But there is a stylistic thing that she often does, and anytime she does it, I find great enjoyment in it because it's so efficient in the way that it uses like the language and the dialogue in order to do what she's trying to do. So here's an example. So Hermione is talking, and she says, this is the quote. I mean, we're talking about defending ourselves against Voldemort. Oh, don't be pathetic, Ron. It doesn't seem fair if we don't offer that chance to other people. So what I'm specifically referring to is her, oh, don't be pathetic, Ron. It's a great way of like addressing a reaction or something externally outside the conversation that happened, but not having to stop the flow of the dialogue and the speech.
Yeah.
Because you can use it to be like the way normal people would be like, oh, shut up, don't do that. And you know exactly the reaction that Ron had. But you don't have to like belabor it and make it like Ron rolled his eyes in disgust or like shuddered but to himself. Like it's so efficient in the way that it's using the tools you have as a writer. Mm-hmm. God, I hate saying that.
And now I will
now
go back
I must
to hating her.
cleanse myself in the river. So they come up with this idea because Harry finally like kind of trepidatiously agrees to leading a group or at least having a meeting to broaching the topic with people.
Yeah.
So they plan to have this people meet them in Hogsmeade, which is their first weekend in October is the first Hogsmeade weekend for the school year, which I believe is like the following weekend. And then when we talk about this, Harry starts thinking again about his conversation from 2 chapters ago with Sirius, where Sirius is like, well, maybe I'll just come up to Hogsmeade. And Ron and Harry, or I'm sorry, well, all 3 of them were like, no, bad idea. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Which we talked about at the time. Sirius did not have the most adult reaction.
Yeah.
So he's like worried because Sirius is not a loose cannon.
Yeah.
That he might just all of a sudden there might be a big black dog walking down Hogsmeade Street. I have to assume it's Hogsmeade Street, right?
Hogsmeade Street.
Hogsmeade Avenue.
The Demon Barber of Hogsmeade Street. The Demon Barber of Hogsmeade Street. Have you guys done that one?
Yeah, we did in the original run. Like back in when we were living in Orlando.
Oh, okay. The film.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I thought you meant like the original run of on the broad.
No.
I was like,
I understood. Yeah, I separate out the 2 timelines of Showgaze by saying the original run and the revival with Molly.
Yeah, the revival. Love.
So, and I hate that because of this whole serious situation. Now Harry's like stressed about it. Harry should not have to be stressed about this because Sirius should be an adult.
Yeah.
Period and point blank. Sorry. That might be controversial to say, but
no, it shouldn't be.
He should not have to be worried that
the adult role.
Right, exactly. So he's having these like terrible dreams and like visions of like Draco walking down the street and seeing, because he knows that Draco knows, and that's the big fear. We really have to bake into the plot line the fear of Sirius getting caught or potentially getting harmed in some way.
Oh yeah. I wonder why.
So they go to Hogsmeade. Filch is checking the roster of people who are allowed to go. Mm-hmm. I will come back to this roster of people who are allowed to go when we get to Hogshead because I have a huge complaint, but we'll get to it in a second.
Okay. I'm ready.
So Filch is checking them, and then he sniffs Harry. No. No. It's a no from me. I didn't like that at all. I get it.
No.
I understand that what we're referencing back to, but it's gonna be a no. It's gonna be an absolutely fucking not.
It's
gonna
too
be,
much.
I would rather him go to McGonagall and be like, Filch just sniffed me, more so than I want him to go to her and be like, Umbridge is making me like mutilate myself. This is bleh.
Yeah.
No, it's a no. And then they were like, why the fuck? Why did Filch? Sorry, we can't move on from this. Why is Filch sniffing you, Harry?
Yeah, no one talked about it.
And he was like, oh, I forgot to tell you this funny story that happened. Ha ha ha. Crazy,
Dung
right?
bombs.
Dung bombs. And Hermione's like, he thinks you have dung bombs? And he was like, yeah, he got a tip off probably from Malfoy. And she was like, I don't know. Something's fishy.
Hermione's
Something's
like,
rotten in the state of Denmark. So they head to Hogshead. It is the sign is it's like at the very end of the street. It's not on the main thoroughfare.
Thoroughfare. What a word, Adam.
Thank you. And the sign is described as depicting a literal decapitated hog's head with blood pooling out of it on a platter.
You know I hated this. I hated it.
Why would you ever make a sign like this? What is the reason? What is the reason?
This is where the Harry Potter world parks got it right. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter. That's the correct name.
Yeah.
The Wizarding World got it right when they put a hog's head on the wall that is is animatronic. That's what I want. I want a hog that is happily living his life up there on the wall. Not this decapitated mess.
I want to see. I didn't like the hog's head sign. And I knew you wouldn't either, so that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, I was really not into that.
Miranda's very much like you. She doesn't really eat meat. Like once in a while she'll eat meat. But she hates when you go to like a restaurant and they have like the diagram of where the cuts are from. She's like, no. I
don't need to know that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even really like when they have if they'll have like a char. It's so hard whenever we go to like the Korean market because sometimes they'll have like the charred like duck up there and I'll just be like,
yeah,
I don't want to see that.
I know.
It's weird. Like I know it's not ethical to be like certain like for some reason like duck really bothers me. I think it's just because I've never eaten duck. It's like duck really bothers me.
You'll have if you ever, you probably won't eat it, but if you ever ate it, you would be like, oh, this is a problem because it's actually, problem is that it's really good. That's why I
duck it, is?
Yeah.
Oh,
if you like a chicken thigh, like I like dark meat. So, and that's pretty much all duck is dark meat. But if you don't like dark meat, then you probably won't like it. But
yeah, it's like that or like lamb when people will order lamb. Obviously I'm not going to tell someone not to order something. Like I would never do that, but I'm just always like,
specifically in America, I think we're very good about fully having it be separated from like the idea of what animals are versus like what we consume. Whereas like I feel like in other cultures it's like, no, these are and we do eat them, but like this is what it is.
I do think America is also just like it's a lot more inhumane than not all countries, because some countries obviously like when you hear about like the dog meat trade or stuff like that, it's like horrifying. But just like in terms of how the livestock animals are treated in America, it's just like really bad. I just try not to eat it as much as I can. Yeah.
So, I do like that they enter the pub for the first time, and Hermione has like gotten approval, but like she went to Professor Flitwick and was like, "Is this allowed?"
This is so great. I love that she's like, well, we're technically breaking the rules, but I'm going to make sure I find like a little workaround for us.
Yeah.
I just love that she's like that.
Which I never would have. I mean, first of all, we never knew that the Hog's Head was a place until this book, because I don't think it's referenced in any previous book. Except for. Except.
Yeah?
Yeah, I liked this callback to. They specifically reference that this is the pub where Hagrid came and won before book 1 even started. It's the pub where Hagrid comes and wins the dragon egg in a card game with a fellow who was fully cloaked. And then Harry does a whole thing where he's like, I remember at the time feeling like it's weird that he didn't ask questions about why this man had a full cloak on and like you couldn't see his face. And then now I'm standing in this restaurant and I don't see anyone's face in here.
No one wants to show that they were in there.
Is that a mummy? Is there a mummy at the bar? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why is there someone who's fully bandaged and only has an opening for their mouth?
What is that Disney movie, like Under Wraps or something? It's the mummy from Under Wraps, the Disney Channel movie. Oh my God.
What is happening? That is so funny to me that there's just a full... But also she doesn't say, like, it was so specific that I thought she was going to be like, it seemed like a mummy, but then like didn't say that. And I was like, oh. Okay. So when Professor Flitwick did give his approval that they could visit the Hog's Head, he did suggest that they do bring their own glasses. If that kind of tells you. And they didn't. But that kind of tells you what the place is like. Yeah. But they really just got bottles of butterbeer. So I don't think you can mess up something that's bottled and he opens it in front of you.
Yeah, but I think butterbeer is fine.
Yeah. Also,
just like
I will
a
never
little root
know.
Beer.
I will. Yeah. It's supposed to be root beer, right?
I feel like it's more like butterscotchy, isn't it? But it's that.
Right. But it's not supposed to be like alcoholic. Whereas like fire whiskey is. We learned basically here that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think whiskey.
I've tried to look into this with butterbeer, but I think it does have a little bit of alcohol in it, supposedly. Right? Didn't we discover this? Maybe not though. Well, you know what? Maybe not because
it does for house elves.
Yeah, because the Winky situation, right? Was like, I don't know.
So they also reference in this scene, and I have said many times that I like when little magical things happen around them and they're just like written off very quickly. This one didn't work for me because she was like, the till seemed to open automatically. And I was like, yeah, like any till ever in the world. I was like, you wrote that as if it was something impressive, and that's what they are designed to do,
like
in fact.
Every till anywhere.
I was like, nope, that one didn't work. You should have found something else. No, that
doesn't work. Oh,
maybe
funny.
Like a little, what's the animal that keeps the gold?
A niffler.
Yeah. Maybe like a niffler would have come out and grabbed the money
that'd
and
be
then
cute.
Like stowed it away.
In like a little vest.
Yeah, it would have been cute. Dressed like a little little organ monkey with like the little vest
exactly.
and the little hat.
Yeah, it's so cute. Oh, okay, canon.
Ron wanted to try the fire whiskey, and I like that Hermione snarls at him to remind him that he is a prefect.
Exactly.
The idea of her snarling that response is so funny to me.
Yeah, prefect.
You are a prefect. She's had it up to fucking here. It's been a month.
Doing anything.
You know he hasn't done fucking shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's not doing any prefect duties.
Nothing.
No, so she's like, you definitely can't enjoy a little fire whiskey. Sorry, boo-boo.
No.
No way.
And then they sit down at a table, and the door opens, and in comes a few more people. Here's the list of people.
A few more?
Oh, just a few. Neville, Dean, Lavender, Parvati, Padma, Cho and Cho's friend, Luna, Katie Bell, Alicia Spinnet, Angelina Johnson, Colin and Dennis. I'll come back to Dennis. Ernie McMillan, Justin Finch Fletchley, Hannah Abbott, another random Hufflepuff. Anthony, who we find out is Susan Bones. Anthony Goldstein, Michael Corner, Terry Boot. And I think, they're all from Ravenclaw. Ginny is with Michael Corner's group. So just remember that.
Keep that in mind.
Hufflepuff Quidditch team player, whose name we find out is Zachariah Smith. Fred, George, and Lee Jordan. 25 more people show up. So they now have 28 people. That's a lot. First of all, that's a lot of people. And I liked that the bartender was like, "Oh, fuck this!" Like
I know. I love that he was
work
so
here
not
because
into
I
it.
don't want to deal with people. This is why I didn't apply to work at Three Broomsticks.
Devastated.
So mad.
He's just
I hope
like,
they
my
tipped
day
him
is
well.
ruined.
Ari,
Yeah.
why is Dennis Creevy in Hogsmeade?
I thought that's what you were going to say. Do we know what year he is
He
at
is
this
a
point?
second year. His first year is the Triwizard year.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
Why
There's
is
no
he
way
here?
he would be there.
There is no way he would be here.
Yeah, no.
I was so mad about it
Yeah.
because it's just
It was such a big deal.
specific
Yeah, yeah.
oversight. And I was
Yeah.
like,
It's such a big part of the world that, like, you don't go to Hogsmeade until you're a third year.
correct.
That's so crazy. I didn't even think about that. But you're totally right. He's too
At
young.
first I was like, oh, he must be a third year. He must have started in their third year was his first year.
Yeah.
And then I was
but
like,
then-
no, because they saw the sorting ceremony and they don't see it again after their first year until the fourth book is when he does the sorting ceremony again. Because he misses it. He misses it because of the chocolate in book 3.
Yep.
He's in Lupin's office. I
mean,
really
there
was
has to
mad.
be a whole-
I was so mad.
Yeah, there has to be a whole thing about it because that's just like such a huge.
I was surprised it was in my book that she hadn't retconned it out.
Yeah, it's weird too that like he could have been a part of the club later. He didn't need to be at this meeting.
No.
Colin just needed to be there.
Right. Or just any
then he
other
could be at
people
the-
that you could have named. I don't know.
That's
I
really
was
weird.
so mad.
Yeah,
I was
it's
so
weird.
mad, Ari. So Hermione starts the speech. Harry's like, I'm not ready to talk. And she's like, it's fine. I knew I was going to have to start it because you're a petulant child who can't do anything on his own. So I will start this meeting for you. And she's like, we had this idea that we should, because we are not actually being taught defense against the dark arts, and we feel like now more than ever, we need to learn defense against the dark arts. We had this idea that Harry should teach it. And also, Voldemort's back. And everyone's like,
And he's returned.
yeah, it's very dramatic.
Voldemort.
Yeah, I do like
Voldemort.
that in this chapter we are transitioning into Hermione being like, I'm not playing the you know who game anymore. His name is
Yeah.
Voldemort, which
Yeah.
is such a strong. I'm so glad. She's such a good character.
Yeah.
And then immediately people like practically drop their glasses, throw up on the spot. They're like horrified. Yeah. Horrified that she just said that.
I love the list of the reactions though. It's like someone shrieks, someone like spills on themselves, someone like just like jerks. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Just like all these
Twitches.
all these different, but yeah.
I wish it was like Dean. I wish it was like Dean Thomas had no reaction because he's famously a muggle. And
Because
would
he's
not-
also a muggle born.
would not have.
Please. I love Dennis or Colin shouldn't have either.
Right. All three
Should've
of them
been
should
like-
be like, cool. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Voldy.
So this is when we meet Zachariah Smith, who's going to
Here we
be
go.
what we will call our devil's advocate for the rest of the chapter.
Oh, he is. That is the person he is. Oh my God. Why do people like to be this person?
I don't know.
I hate it.
And Zacharias is like, well, where's the proof? Where's your proof that Mr. Voldemort is back? And Harry,
Boo.
in this moment, realizes, or he thinks that the reason the number is so big of people who came is because they actually just want to hear what happened last year and they don't actually want anything.
He's like, oh, wait, I see what's happening here.
And
But
he's like annoyed with
kinda wrong.
Hermione that she didn't realize that this could happen. And I was like, why do you think Hermione didn't think this would happen? I don't know. I was like, I feel like Hermione's not stupid enough to be like, nobody's going to ask about it.
No, yeah, I'm sure she's thought of like every angle.
She's the one who earlier in the book was like, you don't understand that from our perspective. We didn't see what happened in the Triwizard Tournament, so that's why people don't necessarily believe or like understand really what happened at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So, Harry.
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 And so Harry's like, listen, I'm not talking about what happened at the end of last year. Dumbledore told y'all what happened, and that's all they're going to say. I'm not going to dredge this up again. And Zacharias like kind of pushes back, and he's like, no, because if you want to go, you can go. Like, no one is keeping you here. No one is forcing you to have this meeting. Like, I am not going to talk about someone who died just because you want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is very good of Harry.
Yeah.
I'm probably not as good as Harry, and I probably would have talked about it, but
he also was just saying like, look, if you want me to go over what it's like for someone to be murdered by Voldemort, I'm not going to do that. Like, I liked the way that he said that, of that
Framed
it's like, you do realize what you're asking me to do, right? Like, you want me to just casually relive like a very traumatic event in my life for you to know some info?
Right. So then the random Hufflepuff, who is Susan Bones, asks, she like interrupts and she's like, is it true you can really produce a Patronus? And he figures out it's Susan Bones because she asks if he can produce a corporeal Patronus, which is the same phrase that Mother Bones, what was her name? Auntie Bones? Amelia Bones. Amelia Bones said in the trial. Harry, she is the same grade as you. There is no reason you would not know who there. You've been in classes together.
Yeah, for years.
You and Hufflepuffs have had classes together. I refuse to believe that you do not know who Susan Bones is.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Just a big
Unless
long braid.
Unless he really is
just
that obtuse.
The random Hufflepuff with a big braid down her back. Girl, what? I was so mad. She gets name checked in the first book in the sorting ceremony.
Harry just knows Ron and Hermione and then anyone that talks to him, Adam.
Oh my God.
He doesn't know. He's such an introvert. He doesn't
I really
know
wanted,
anyone
he
else.
was like, are you related to Bones or whatever? And I really wanted to be like, yes, Harry, we've been going to school together for 5 years now.
I'm sorry, you didn't know that was my last name? We got sorted at like moments apart, so you heard my name spoken.
By a hat.
And
not a lot of hats are calling out names around the world, so I feel like it's one you might remember.
That's just weird too that like it's year 5 at this point. Like it's you either have classes with the Hufflepuffs, the Ravenclaws, or the Slytherins. So like you're in a class with her at least like a couple times every week. Guaranteed.
And I don't think Hogwarts is that big of a school.
No.
If there are only 5 Gryffindor boys who are in Harry's year.
Yeah. It sounds
it's
like about
that,
that in every year pretty much.
You would know everyone in that school.
Yeah, you should. In your grade, you should
definitely know people in your grade. At the very least, you would know everyone in your grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Weird.
My note literally is in all caps. That's Susan Bones. Harry, y'all are the same year. What do you mean you don't know her name? I was so mad about it. Okay, here's a note. There's a veiled witch sitting nearby.
Yeah, girl. Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
But I know it's something because A, I kind of remember it being something, but also B, they call it out like multiple times in the chapter.
Yeah,
so I was like, well, it's gonna come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the veiled witch is witching. The witch is witching.
The witch is witching.
Okay. So they talk about the people at the meeting start bringing up all the things that have happened because Harry again is doing the like I haven't done anything. I've never once defended myself against dark arts. I don't even know what we're talking about right now. And they're like,
dark arts who? I don't know her.
Right. And then they're like, they talk about the basilisk. And he's like, well, yeah, technically I did.
I know this part is so like cringe, but in a funny way.
I did use the sword of Gryffindor and kill a basilisk. Okay, whatever. And then they talk about the Sorcerer's Stone. Neville brings that up. Which is also fine. Cho is like, and don't forget that you defeated all those big, dark, scary things in the Triwizard Tournament last year.
And Harry's like this.
Doing her best Marilyn Monroe impression. Yeah.
I'm just imagining like the slow like pan is like she's saying this to him.
Yeah.
Harry like
you're
locks
so brave.
eyes with her.
Ooh, you're so brave, Harry. Somebody else brings up the Dragon Challenge from last year, and then Susan Bones once again talks about the Dementors from the summer. So, you know, they've given us the quick summary of every book, which is very nice. In case you were coming in on book 5 and didn't know.
Yeah.
These are all the things you
were
missed.
The person. You were the one person on Earth that started with book 5.
Right. And so but Harry keeps doing this like, but I really don't know. I don't know. I could never. Girl, if you're still like this, why are you having the meeting at all? Like, shut up. And also,
Zacharias kind of says that at one point.
Yes, and I was like, thank you. So Zacharias asks if he's trying to weasel out of teaching, and Ron gets like really pissed. Yeah. And explain this sentence to me. Perhaps the word weasel had affected Ron particularly strongly.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, girl.
Is it because it's supposed to be like he's
Weasley?
A weasel? And so people have made fun of him for that word? But that's never happened in this book series?
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, what? Why is she doing this in this moment?
I didn't even need that sentence. What is going on? I would have fully bought that he defends Harry.
Yeah.
Just because he's his best friend.
Because he's being, and Zacharias being a dick.
Yeah. It was weird. And then Fred and George also are like, shut the fuck up, bro. And listen or leave.
I did love that Fred and George came like that hard. I was like, hey.
Yeah, the weasels. All the weasels are
weasels
mad,
reacted.
Except for Ginny. Ginny didn't react.
Yeah.
Hermione kind of, centers it back, and she's like, okay, so I think it would be silly to meet less than once a week. So we should aim for at least, once a week. And all the Quidditch players are like, well, it can't interfere. So I'm very busy with Quidditch.
Don't try to mess up our schedule, okay? This is a very strict schedule, even though Harry's got detention every week, but...
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. There are like perhaps 4 Quidditch games a year. Are there not?
Would it only be 4? Yeah.
For each house to play each other?
No.
1, 2,
that would
3,
be more.
4, 5, 6.
6 total.
And that's just, unless there's more for like finals. I don't know if they do those.
But there wouldn't be, because the final game would be determined by who wins what game.
I'm sending you a photo of my diagram that I just had to draw to figure it out because I'm a fucking idiot.
No. I didn't even try, so...
Anyway, my point is that there's not that many fucking Quidditch games, so we don't need to practice this much for 6 Quidditch games, in which one house is only playing 3 of them. That was my point. Shut the fuck up about Quidditch. But I'm back in my anti-Quidditch era, so. Okay. So we've complained, Ari, Joe has heard our complaints that Ernie Macmillan was pompous and it was not noted. There was no example of him being pompous. And so she actually decided to make him pompous in the scene, which I was like, oh, you just did it the wrong way. You did it after the fact.
You did it out of order.
Yeah. So he cries out that he agrees that it's the most important thing is to learn Defense Against the Dark Arts because what is happening in class is like unconscionable practically. And then he says he looked around impressively as though waiting for people to cry, "Surely not." Which is so funny.
Surely
And
not.
then no one reacts because they're just like, okay, yeah. And then he's like,
Yeah.
and so anyway, that's why
we're all here.
I want to do this. We go into this weird thing where like Hermione and Luna decide to argue about heliopaths.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't care. We don't even get an example. They're like fire creature. It's stupid.
Yeah,
Sorry,
a
it's
fire
dumb.
spirit or whatever, yeah.
Ginny circles back and she does a great she's like pretending to be Umbridge, which they think is funny. So Ginny's funny. That's exciting to learn that Ginny has a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And Hermione's like, okay, so we're not going to do it on Quidditch practices. And then we'll figure out where to do it. We don't really know that at the moment, but we'll kind of like let you know when we decide on a location.
Yeah, found a location.
Because Madam Pince is not going to let us, just do jinxes in the library.
Right. No way.
I'm shocked the woman lets them bring in a wand to the library. I'm surprised you don't have to check it in when you walk in the door.
Yeah, truly.
And so then she's like, I'm going to pass around a parchment and I want everybody to sign it. A, so we know who all was here. But also B, so it's like promising that you won't say anything.
Yeah, she hesitates for a second before she starts to talk about this.
Right. So what I'm going to say is just for next time, Hermione, you actually want to do this before you start talking about what you want to talk about. You want to get everybody's signatures ahead of time. Because somebody could have just walked out right now and then they didn't sign anything and then they could have just ratted y'all out. So just something to think about as someone who's had to draft
different contracts,
non-disclosure agreements. That's how you do it. And then they all sign. They do end up all signing, which is good. Ernie's the one who has a little bit of like hesitation, but finally gives in. So then everybody else gives in, which I thought that was funny that he like led the way for everybody.
Yeah,
to
even though everyone like didn't respond to him earlier.
Right. He's vying for president of whatever club this is going to be. And then everybody leaves. Fred, George, and Lee are the first to go. They're like, well, we have business to attend to. We're very busy people. And then everybody kind of like goes off. Cho is still smitten and her friend like drags her out of there.
She's like trying to like very like take a long time like putting stuff into her bag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is me. Cho is me. I am Cho.
You're that person.
Yeah.
It takes.
Oh, me?
RJ, I'm so sorry.
And then everybody else has left. And so then they're like walking out, the three of them. And, they were kind of talking about how so many people came to the meeting.
Yeah.
And, it was a shame, like, Zacharias was kind of an asshole or whatever. And she was like, well, I was talking to Ernie, because, again, Ernie's a prefect. She was like, I was talking to Ernie, and then he kind of overheard, and I wasn't going to say no. So that's how that ended up happening. And she was like, I mean, that's why, like, the Ravenclaw boys came, is because they're friends with... They're friends with, what is his name? Michael Corner, who's obviously dating Ginny. That's why, he came. And Ron is like, sorry, what?
For the second time, Ron whips his neck around.
Right. For the second time this chapter.
Yeah.
He breaks his neck. How do you not, I mean, like, are these people so unobservant? We don't know who Susan Bones is, and we don't know that my sister's been dating someone for, like, almost a year.
Harry and Ron, I think they just like, they're not spatially, like they're just like these type of people. They do not observe what is happening around them.
I would be so exhausted by them at all times. You can tell Hermione's
same.
like, yes, your sister has been dating Michael Corner since like the Yule Ball, which was
that's so
last
long,
Christmas.
Adam. That is so long.
They've been dating for 10 months practically. What?
Yeah.
Also, I'm desperate to know what their if they were writing to each other over the holiday. Like, was she like, I'm staying at a weird, creepy house in London, LOL. Michael.
Hey, there's this really creepy house elf that just came into my bedroom, so I got to wrap this up. Love ya.
And then
can
Ron's
you imagine waking up in the middle of the night and creatures just like standing next to your bed? I would scream bloody murder.
No, I would. No.
That's so scary.
Or Peeves, creature and Peeves together
Either
watching
one,
you
anything in my bedroom, girl. Sorry, you know how much I love Dobby, but like I would be terrified if I woke up and Dobby was there. I'd be like, what are you doing? Why are you there? The part in the last book where Harry woke up and Dobby was just like still and like
yes, I gave him the ghillie lead.
So scary,
so stupid. So Ron is miffed that Ginny never told him, and Hermione's like, well, this would be why. Look at your reaction right now in this moment.
I wonder why she didn't.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I didn't have a bad reaction. I'm a great brother.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Very funny. And then Hermione like moves on from that and goes, so Cho. And Harry's like, what do you mean? What do you mean Cho? She was like, I just thought it was interesting. She couldn't keep her eyes off you, Harry. It's just kind of funny. Anything to say? And he's like, bye. And then they like, that's the end of the chapter. And he says Hogsmeade had never been more beautiful.
Oh, wow. It is a beautiful day, isn't it? Just gorgeous.
Such a boy. What a boy.
Thank you. That was pretty good. That wasn't too bad time-wise.
Yeah.
That was a quick one. Very nice. All right, that wraps up this chapter. Next week we'll be reading chapter 17, Educational Decree number 24. Oh wow, they're just rolling them out. We do not have a review, but you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect nude score. 5 stars only, or else you'll have to sit in a room with Zachariah Smith playing the devil's advocate.
Oh, God. Did you have people like that in classes in college?
Yes. There are people like anywhere in the world, unfortunately. It's just like, God, you never go away. You can never get away from them. Mm-hmm. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HBAnxious or YouTube and TikTok at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them, and are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Ari.
And as always, Nox.